Hello everybody, my name is V. Narendra Kumar and we are from NRK Academy, and today we have got this Unit 3 in our series of Master Holistic Education. Holistic Education to lead a passionate life, for a passionate life. Unit 3, the teaching process. So first we'll talk about the teaching of English. English for Indians and people who are not very acquainted with English, and for many is a foreign language. We need a stepwise approach to enable each student to master English. And in fact, I would say that even if you have English as your vernacular, as your mother tongue, it's still important that you master reading. Step 1, the first step is to grasp the words. Ability to read, listen, write, speak all basic words. We must use the phonetic method, the method of breaking a word into the letters which serve as sounds. Thus the word agree, for example, is really not A but the sound A. G is the sound, and so on with R and EE. Only then the student fully grasps the reading and listening of agree. Agree, he'll understand that. So it's not very difficult. So you take the basic set of words, the first level words, and you can learn every word this way. We need to know the meaning too. Thus we must teach with this method. And here multiple inputs must be given from stories, from songs, poems, dramas. So you can give these as examples so that it will be more interesting, and point out letters and read very slowly. And we have a wonderful series of more than 400 stories called Master Listening and Reading, and we have so many playlists, so many stories we have, around 400 we have, 400 plus in NRK Academy. You can have a look at that. In each activity he must learn, he must LSRW, he must listen, speak, read and write each word with clarity and command over a period of time. So let's say you give him 2 months or 3 months, he masters every single word perfectly. Use it. This is the result we must work towards, and definitely this is possible. I've done it with hundreds of students. We have done it with so many students. Step 2 is 100% clarity in sentence formation. Grammar. Grammar is, in simple terms, is really situational English. With a different situation, the sentence changes in the verb's place. Thus we have active voice, passive voice, tenses, modals, ways of joining sentences, etc. When each structure is learnt with around 25 to 30 examples, and again read and written, the students find it easy to observe grammar used in real life. So when you say, where are you going? I am going to market. He can read it and understand its meaning fully. That's all is grammar. If you know grammar, you can read. Right? You can listen. Thus his reading, listening or speaking, writing seems clear cut and sharp. He notices so-called grammar, that's the sentence formation, meaning, in stories, in textbooks, in conversations, songs, or any audiovisual content like movies. Step 3, obviously, now what do? You've got the basic vocabulary, you've got the basic sentence formation. Step 3 is obviously, now go ahead, all your life, do lots of listening and reading and speaking and writing, and notice that such people alone master advanced English. Full vocabulary, full, and because of that wide reading, they get a lot of knowledge also, right? This step really helps us. Students should read and listen to textbooks, storybooks, essays, and especially the treasures contained in literature. Not to read literature is missing out on a huge treasure. And when you go into the book, you can understand. And that's why we have given classic poetry, classic stories, novels, quite a number of novels, and more than 50 plus novels and non-fiction books also, the great books in NRK Academy. So we have given it all as playlists, and we also have our website where you can go through it and you can master the step 3. He should also freely check his English by writing a lot. So from within you should just pour out and write and write. How do you learn writing? By writing. How do you learn creative writing? Again by writing. What's exactly happening in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, you write it out. It's not about winning prizes. It's objectifying all that's happening within you, and it comes with practice. Spoken English needs to be frequently used also. So when you have input of reading and listening to a good solid extent, obviously spoken English will be better. How do people who speak very good English, how did they learn it? They just learn it by reading and listening, not only by speaking. So speaking comes from reading and listening, a huge quantum of that, and it's enjoyable also. Very, very deep enjoyment. I would say that reading is the greatest enjoyment. This is what is done in good schools, good students, good parents do that with their children. So every teacher should be conscious of this process and himself complete step 1 and 2 and 3 with the resources provided. Slowly but surely, his mind and heart would open up to the power and beauty of language. Note, the teaching of any other second language, let's say Hindi or Telugu or Italian or French also follows the same pattern. Words, sounds, words, grammar, reading, listening, speaking, writing, the teaching of subjects. Now let's see how we teach the subjects. The most important thing to do is to implement textbook reading in social, physical and natural sciences. Usually textbooks are written quite well. Textbooks have been prepared by eminent scholars and scientists who have an in-depth knowledge. So the teacher himself should read a textbook word by word, maybe 2-3 times, Think about it, go and research further, look at videos to understand the textbook as a base and implement the same in students. When you understand a concept, obviously then only you can teach the concept. Then the concept does unfold. Textbooks have many activities and all of them should be done by the students and by the teachers. It's part and parcel of the learning process. The textbook comprehension, let's call it TBC, can be checked by TBC exam. And if you're an educator or a teacher, by converting each para into 2 or 3 questions. So this is a very simple exercise. This can be done twice in a big class. Let's say you have a class of 40 students. You can tell them to read the para. You can give them questions. They answer it. You check it. If it's wrong, do it again. So they focus. That's all. This can be done twice for 100% assimilation. This method ensures top marks, ranks, and the concepts. Next we come to teaching of mathematics. Math too must follow the textbook. In the textbook, each topic has been introduced in a conceptual way that any child can understand. Many people don't know that textbook has given that step. This must be strictly followed. And when each exercise has been completed, we must give an exam that mimics that exercise and check 100% skill development before we go to exercise 2. So this is for the teacher who is running a class or an educator who is running many classes. Teach the concept, give him an exam, don't judge him. If it's wrong, teach him again. Ensure that finally, whatever exam you give him, he is getting full marks. It's as simple as that. In this way, all the exercises must be completed by the student himself and with full understanding. Now we come to a very challenging thing, teaching for the pre-primary. Pre-primary is very demanding, very difficult in one sense. But in another sense, it is very simple and very beautiful and also energizing in another sense. It is this second sense that we would like to share with you. The child in the pre-primary stage, what is called kindergarten, is a totally different entity than even normal children. He is prodigious, he is active, he is restless, full of expression and feeling. He is an absorbent mind, as Montessori made clear. If he is naturally and already that, then we seriously need to think of how to guide that enormous and deep energy into actions that he would love in a natural way and learn. What a gift that would be to give him that, isn't it? Think of a typical day where the child sang a song but with full expression and with full happiness. He then did clay work for a long time and really played with that clay to his heart's content and learned to make the shapes occurring in his brain. He ran and jumped and skipped and played physical games with the purpose of becoming strong in the mind and body. He learned letters but as a phonetic game that he could make sense of and repeated endlessly to his heart's content. I think the point is clear. Child loves to learn. We need to simply grasp that, and then the way we implement the systems of learning would be marvelous for children. This requires a kind of childlike, almost a kind of very active and energetic quality in the teacher also. Given this understanding, all the methods that are standard, there are standard methods, but they will come alive. And if done this way, the child would develop with love in his heart and zero fear. So love has to be combined with a deep understanding of the child. Love has to be combined with a deep understanding of the child, to see the child. I think we all have understood this point here. So what we are doing in this video series is we are looking at reality, this way of education, which is slightly shifting it and making it more deeper, more meaningful. That's all we are doing, and anybody can do this. We've checked it with hundreds of teachers and students. Needless to say, this would develop the teacher's personality in a great way, right? So even you as a teacher or an educator or a parent will develop in a great way which you should never suspected till that day. So that completes our Unit 3. Next we come to Unit 4, and that is co-curricular activities, its importance and implementation. And it's very important to have co-curricular activities. We are not calling it extracurricular activities. We're calling it part of part of the syllabus. So we'll meet you all in this next video. Thank you.